Have you ever wanted to start a conversation with your partner about sexual intimacy, but then have felt stuck, embarrassed, confused, uncertain of what to say, how to even start that conversation, what questions to even ask? Let's Talk About It addresses this uncertainty for many couples in knowing how to navigate these conversations. I will be releasing regularly questions to ask that help to deepen your understanding of sexual intimacy, and also self-disclosure prompts that encourage openness and vulnerability between the two of you as a couple. To start off with, a simple question is simply, how do you define what sex is? So often we assume that the language that we are using is exactly the same way in which another person is using that language. This is where what then surprises people about these conversations is realizing, oh, actually, you see this very same thing from a different angle or a different perspective than me. When we have these sensitive, vulnerable conversations, it is so important that we are on the same page when it comes to the specific language that we are using. For example, sex. Often what comes to people's minds is penis and vagina sexual intercourse. But perhaps sex could also mean oral sex. It could mean manual stimulation. What exactly are we talking about when it comes to this word sex? Because if we're starting a conversation about sex, do we even know what the other means by that word? So as a basic place to start, I encourage you to have that conversation. What do you mean, or how do you define what sex is? Oh, and how you define what sex is? Here's a tip from a sex therapist. The more broad, flexible your definition of what sex is, the more resilient and adaptable that is across the lifespan. Those that have an enjoyable, satisfying sexual relationship beyond 60 and onwards, their definition of sex moves beyond what many of us think as simply penis and vagina intercourse. So I encourage you, as you unpack what your definition of sex is, recognize that a more robust understanding of sex is beneficial for you in the long run. For me, when I use the word sex, what I mean by that is sexual intimacy or sexual activity. And when I have that definition of sex, sexual activity, sexual intimacy, that opens up what sex is to a rich, broad array of behaviors between a couple. If you'd like to deepen your conversations about sexual intimacy, I encourage you to follow along with my YouTube series, Let's Talk About It. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram. If you would like more in-depth information on all things sexual well-being, feel free to follow along on my blog, which is on my website.